It's the KRMG Afternoon News with Skylar Cooper.
Go ahead, give it to me.
It's time for the BA Breakdown on the KRMG Afternoon News. I'm Skylar Cooper, and we're joined live by Broken Arrow City Manager Michael Spurgeon. How are you, sir?
Skylar, I'm ready to break it down today. Talk about what's going on in Broken Arrow. How are you doing?
I'm good. Got some questions for you from the open mic on our KRMG app from the listeners. A few things on my mind. I wanted to start with, because today's the big day. They had that big parade down in Oklahoma City for the OKC Thunder. And it's my understanding that some of the Broken Arrow police officers were there to help out.
Yes, I'm proud to say that we had 16 members of the Broken Arrow Police Department, our special response team. The city of Oklahoma City requested assistance from a number of different agencies, and we answered the call. City Council passed a resolution authorizing the deployment of our officers. They were there very, very early this morning. It's an amazing event that we're able to be able to be a part of for the large gathering, and I'm very proud of our officers. The Chief Arnold let us know that they got back a couple of hours ago, so it was great to be able to help OKC and celebrate the NBA championship.
And from what I can see, it looks like everything went great, right?
It did. From everything that all of our officers are safe. I'm not aware of any incidents. Haven't got any briefing about the larger event, but as far as the Broken Arrow officers, we were proud to be there to help support this big win and make sure everybody had a great time. And so we have a history of helping folks when they need help, and I'm glad that they called us. And once again, our folks did a great job.
There's something I wanted to ask you about today because I'm experiencing it at my house in Broken Arrow. And I know we've talked about this in summers past about the water, but I just got this open mic on the KRMG app, so I will let her ask the question.
Okay.
Why is the water all over town seem to be brown or green currently, and is it safe to drink?
I know we've seen that before in Broken Arrow. It tends to happen at the beginning of the summer. Each year seems like at my house. So remind us what that is and what we need to know.
Well, thanks, Skylar, and I appreciate that open mic. It's a great question. I mean, this is a common occurrence that happens usually at the beginning of the summer months when the temperature rise and water consumption increases. So the water in some areas of town, it's not all over of town. It is not aesthetically pleasing color-wise, but it is safe to drink. And what has happened is the fact that we saw the peak of water being used per day go from about 10 million gallons a day to 16 million gallons a day. When you have that large increase in demand, there's a good possibility that as the water starts to run through to meet that demand, runs through the underground lines, that velocity can stir up the minerals that are basically attached to the water that get attached to the piping system actually, and then it comes out in your tap. And so we've had approximately 60 calls that we're aware of since last Friday, and we just encourage everyone to actually run their water, flush their stools. When we find out about an area, we're going out and actually opening up the fire hydrants to actually get that water through the system. So it's a common occurrence. I've had in other communities that I've worked in. It normally happens when you have hot weather and a large increase in usage. So it's just something that we definitely try to get ahead of, and I'm pretty proud of Tim Robbins and his team putting the word out about what's going on. But there is no concern with anybody drinking that water, and it'll get through and everything will be fine.
I had another Broken Arrow resident ask me privately about the smell. Is that the same thing? Can it have a smell when this happens?
Possibly. That is a little bit more concerning to me. And so if a resident has a question about smell, I would encourage them to contact the city so we can actually go out and look into that area. And the number, I'll put this number out here because I do have a few notes thinking you may ask about this. If there's a question, we need to go out and check that area. If there is a taste or an odor situation, that number is 918-259-7000, 918-259-7000, and let them know the area so we can go out and do a little bit more specific checking, Skylar.
Broken Arrow City Manager Michael Spurgeon live on KRMG. It's the BA Breakdown. Another question for you from the open mic. This one, I don't know if we've talked about it recently, but I'll let her ask the question. I'm sure you're going to know.
Okay.
Skylar, could you please ask when 101st Road will be completed? It looks finished, yet there's still cones up, and the speed limit is still 25, and we are done with all this. Please let us know.
I think she's talking about out there in front of Events Park. That's the only 101st construction I know of.
Yes, what a great question. I drive by the cones all the time, but I'm going out to Challenger Sports Complex to play softball, and when I'm out looking at the status of the work. And so the main reason why those cones are still there is because there is still work to be completed at the intersection of 101st and 209th. We're going to be actually doing some milling and paving on 209th going south. And there were 3 homes just east of 209th that we had to acquire. We've acquired 2 of those. We're in the process of acquiring the third one, and we're going to tear that third house down. And then what we have to do is we're actually going to be extending the road to create another lane a little bit further to the east for folks going in and out of the events park. And once that work is done, then we'll basically remove all the cones. But right now, it's just, if we remove them all, folks are going to have to merge back over to the north, and that can create an issue. And so I know it is an inconvenience, but it's mainly for safety purposes until we actually can finish all the work at the intersection and finish that other lane where those 3 homes were east of 209th.
One more thing I wanted to ask you about, and thank you for that. There was just a picture I saw on Facebook kind of got my attention, and I haven't gone down Main Street since this was announced, but I understand there is a kind of a return to history for the building that houses Main Street Tavern there on Main, and
yes.
a decorative cupola, I think it's called, being installed back on the building.
That's correct. I mean, this is a private initiative that the city is helping wherever we can in terms of coordinating closing down the streets and so forth. That building on the corner there where Main Street Tavern is currently located was built in approximately 1904, not 2004, but 1904. And it was the city's, I would say, most significant 2-story brick building at the time. And it had a cupola at that time. And it was removed in the 60s, I understand, as there was renovations done. Well, a group of private citizens led by Mr. Broken Arrow, Dr. Clarence Oliver, and several others got together and raised the funds to reinstall the cupola. So you've got the infrastructure to hold the cupola being built right now. I think they're just about finished, if not finished. And then actually later next month, they're going to basically install the new cupola there to bring it back to the original 1904. So it's very exciting. It's a great piece of history for Broken Arrow, and that's what's happening.
It's going to look cool. And it strikes me there's so many instances of this, not just in Broken Arrow, but the other suburbs and in Tulsa proper, where I guess there was a phase where people wanted change. And then later, like right now with this, they go, wait, why did they ever change that? It was so cool, like bricks being covered up by sheetrock, things like that. And so now we're returning to the originals. I think it's a cool movement.
It is pretty amazing. And other communities I've worked in, we went through that same urbanism type approach and then went back to the original. And what's exciting about Broken Arrow, this is going to continue. For us, we want to be downtown to be a placemaker, a place where people come and gather. And obviously history is very important. And so this is an exciting piece of history for Broken Arrow, that particular area, and all the citizens that were, I just mentioned Dr. Oliver, but there are many citizens. Larry Pennington has been one of the helpers, Farrah Folks, for example. Those are some of the community leaders that have been heavily involved in this. And so it's going to be a great thing for our community. And I'm glad I'm able to give him a shout out, Skylar.
City Manager Michael Spurgeon with us live every Tuesday. We're out of time for today, but we'll talk next week.
Look forward to it. Have a great week.